the crypto market just got some pretty insane news. And I think all of you who are bulls and want to make some money this bull run are going to be quite happy. I definitely am. So strap yourselves in. You might actually fall off your seat if you aren't. This very much so reminds me of way back in like 2020, 2021, when we had DeFi summer, except this time, considering who is involved, I mean, I think the gains are going to be a lot higher than the last cycle. Let me explain more. But of course, you guys know the drill. Before I do, help support all I do to provide you top-notch daily crypto content by hitting that like button. And if you're new around here, you can pretty well give yourself the best chance of success this bull run by hitting that subscribe button, especially while you're down there. Thank you very much. Now, the news itself is about a week or two old, but I haven't heard anyone else talk about this yet. And also, I'm going to provide a pretty comprehensive breakdown of what I think will be happening here in the next month or two, like literally the next month or two, okay? Very much so reminds me of back in September and October of last year, where we had that first massive push-up and the official commencement, if you will, of the bull run, thanks to Blackrock and the Ethereum, or Bitcoin rather, ETFs. If you just pay attention for the next 10 minutes, you're going to be like, okay, all right, the writing's on the walls, just like we'll be saying at this point in time in the next 1, 2, or 3 years. Kind of like we were saying the start of this year, referring back to October. It was so obvious in the moment, why didn't we just realize it? So please pay attention for your sake. So BlackRock's Build All Fund, which of course was the tokenization of a bunch of US treasuries on Ethereum, is going to participate in MakerDAO's 1 billion real-world asset push. What's MakerDAO? Well, these guys issue one of these stablecoins in crypto. They're pretty much a DAO designed to focus on supplying that and doing a whole bunch of DeFi stuff as well. So lending, borrowing, so on. So they're a really, really reputable project and they've been around for quite a while. Okay, so last week, MakerDAO unveiled the Spark Tokenization Grand Prix, a contest aimed at onboarding $1 billion of tokenized real-world assets. So I'm going to finish this article here and then I want to go into some broader, really bullish aspects that you need to hear about again, because they will be things that will be like, oh my gosh, the writing was on the wall, okay? But this itself is massive, particularly because it really reminds me of DeFi summer back in 2020, when that pretty much kickstarted the bull run. And I think based on this news, we might see real-world assets, tokenization / DeFi, liquid staking tokens, all of these major narratives revolved around decentralized finance likely popping off and having their all-time highs again first, which is important for those of you who hold projects like ONDO, Goldfinch, and others, because that's likely when you're going to be wanting to sell early on, okay? So again, I refer back to my narrative video I made a few videos ago. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch that video. The initiative has caught the eye of major financial heavyweights, including BlackRock, asset management firm Superstate and ONDO Finance, which manages $550 million in RWAs, also plan to participate. The competition invites builders to onboard tokenized versions of traditional finance products, such as US government bonds. MakerDAO plans to invest $1 billion into these products to integrate them into its ecosystem. So they're building up their treasuries, they're doing a whole bunch of different things, but they're pretty much, to cut a very long story short, looking to invest in RWA, tokenization, other DeFi projects to initiate and kickstart this ecosystem, okay? Really get things going with the support of BlackRock in form of compensation and likely other things as well. Now, this is all set to kickstart on August 12. So very big stuff indeed. Now, again, I'm going to get into some of these bullish factors here momentarily, but first of all, I need to tell you, for those who weren't around in the last cycle, like I said, this reminds me of DeFi summer. Now, if we just do some basic TA stuff real quick, because I'm no TA expert, I'm a fundamentals guy, as you all know. If we just simply draw a line back in the last cycle, pretty much where we consolidated for a while, similar to what we are and what we're doing right now, we actually wicked down here for a couple of weeks before we eventually pushed up. Now, again, history doesn't actually repeat, but sometimes it very closely rhymes. If we draw the same level of support over here, again, for 2 weeks, we actually fell beneath this level of support. And as long as we hold this and continue moving up, we should, in my opinion, break all-time highs and then continue up. Now, from that same point in time, I also moved across from that Bitcoin halving, which is when both these lines start, to the all-time high, and that was 130 weeks. Now, I don't think we'll last 130 weeks because that'll basically send us into mid-2026, and I think most of that was thanks to the, I guess, slow nature of the market because of the big C word back then, and a few other things as well, kind of slowed the whole process down. I think we'll see this time around a big blow-off top moment and then a consolidation like 2018, but it gives us some rough timeframes into what we're thinking about. Most of us think, hey, the bull run's going to end sometime mid to late 2025, and I think if I'm a betting man, that's probably going to happen even with the consideration of basically the lengthening cycle theory, and that we might actually end up closing up shop sometime late this year. So long story short, all that given, okay, I know it can be like, oh my gosh, this inflow of information. Let's break it down and look at some of the bullish things before we move into what this actually means for RWA, DeFi, tokenization protocols. All right. So Donald Trump said some pretty bullish things at the recent Bitcoin conference in Nashville. He said a lot of amazing things, obviously basically supporting Bitcoin. However, it was slightly criticized by RFK Jr. He was saying, look, I fully support that, love the idea, love Trump supporting it, but he said if he does enact some of these things, he's going to have to go back on some of the things his administration actually put in place many years ago. So he was supporting him, but also saying, hey, are you going to actually hold him to it? Either way, I'm not getting political here. RFK himself, of course, very big Bitcoin bull. I think he said, we have the blue and the red and I'm orange. I mean, he says some pretty nice buzzwordy things. But he did mention in this speech that he had a massive deposit of funds due to some lawsuit that occurred that he won. And he put most of that, which therefore means most of his net worth, into Bitcoin. So this guy's putting his money truly where his mouth is. We also had another very, very bullish thing happen recently. Of course, with the Ethereum ETFs being approved, we actually had one of the issuers, in this case, Bitwise, put up a massive banner on Wall Street here for their ETF, right? ETHW. So this is a pretty big moment. What's happening here is the world, institutions, and most importantly, the traditional finance markets are starting to accept, or at least being forced to accept, crypto. We're basically shoving it down its throat. And while you can argue, hey, the Ethereum ETFs weren't as successful as Bitcoin, again, remember, like this article here says, if we're comparing it to Bitcoin, right, okay, maybe it wasn't amazing, but Bitcoin was the most successful ETF launch ever in any ETF, even better than gold, okay? It was a resounding success. And we're comparing Ethereum with it. Ethereum, in the last 12 months, well, besides Bitcoin, was like the best traditional ETF in terms of flows, period. All right, so we have a very good launch here, according to what everyone, I'm no ETF expert, but according to the experts, right? Wakey, everyone. I wanted to briefly interrupt this viewing experience with a word from this video's sponsor, and that is Cryptonomy. I know by now how familiar most of you will be with Cryptonomy at this point, so I wanted to quickly shed some light on some of their kick-ass free products that they have recently launched to give you the best fighting chance at success this bull run. These free products stem from their Telegram, where they recently launched their market updates channel with already over 3,000 subscribers, all who are very keen to keep informed as we come to the next chaotic crypto summer. It's here where Cryptonomy's team shares a lot of important news from the financial sector that is crucial for anyone trading crypto or other financial instruments. They also have their community channel where like-minded crypto enthusiasts can meet you in a friendly environment to share thoughts, concerns, and also ideas. Lastly, they have their main channel with over 20,000 subscribers where important Cryptonomy updates and of course opinions on key events in the crypto market are shared as well. Now, all of this is to say a huge part of crypto is remaining up to date and connected to whatever the market is up to, as this market moves fast and honestly never stops. So in saying that, let me show you how to use Cryptonomy's main three products that I've been leveraging for some juicy APYs. Firstly, their flexible contracts allow you to spin up a liquid staking contract that offers very high APYs compared to the rest of the market. However, if you want a 3 to 5x the APY, then the flexible contract is what you want to consider. It's just as easy to create and offers insane return on investments with the options of choosing a 1, 3, 6, 9, or 12-month lockup period and the chance, of course, to receive rewards each month rather than compounding. But if that still wasn't good enough for you, you've got to check out their launch pool where Cryptonomy will take the funds you have invested and use those to invest in promising altcoins for you with gains up to and over a 20x for gold and platinum. All links will, of course, be down below. So with that said, let's get back to the video. So this article says, even in the midst of the summer slowdown, the Ethereum ETF saw 23% of the trading volumes that the Bitcoin ETF saw on the first day of trading in January, when trading activity is seasonally more active. So given the slowness of the market, it still did really well. And I think, generally speaking, it's not so much that we had a massive amount of inflows, outflows, or whatever. That's obviously a very good thing. That's going to help the price of Ethereum ultimately, but it's general awareness. People think there's going to be a stone wall around Bitcoin and Ethereum. that is not true. Ultimately, this is going to bring more awareness to the cryptocurrency space, make it, put it in the eyes ultimately of institutions, which is where the big money is, which is where we make our millions, okay? Because they're going to bump the price of these coins up insanely. Like this here, this gentleman from Blackrock actually said at Bitcoin Nashville, yes, they have representatives from Blackrock at the Bitcoin conference, said they haven't turned it on yet. They're expediting the process, referencing institutions coming into crypto. He actually did say in this speech, matter of fact, I'll let you hear it for yourself, a pretty interesting and bullish thing.
When we talk about institutions, there's a long research, diligence, exploration process that requires a lot of education. We're on that journey with a lot of our institutional clients today.
So you heard it there first. They are teaching and educating institutional clients. Again, these guys have $10 trillion in assets under management, the largest asset manager in the world. And this kind of reminds me of what's happening right here with real-world assets, tokenization, DeFi, liquid staking tokens, like what's happening right now on Ethereum that will have a cascading effect in other areas overall for DeFi in this space, right? What's happening here is we're having the BlackRock and other companies like them create an appealing atmosphere for developers to create new products, which in turn grows the ecosystem, which in turn creates positive yields, right? More competitive yields and more products to be created, therefore, DeFi, liquid staking, real assets, and so on, which means more retail stakers like you and I, which means the more institutions will be like, oh my gosh, there's a big money grab here, let's get involved, which then creates more products. And this flywheel goes around and around and around, which is why tokenization, real-world assets, in my opinion, is a definite 10 ranking in terms of narratives. And so far, it's performing quite well. 43% relative strength, which again is good. Any positive relative strength percentage is good in crypto, particularly right now when things are very slow. Some of these are down, like Quant, Synthetics, XDC, Hedera, and Chainlink. But remember, this is all because most of these coins, bar Chainlink, are really hyper-focused on Web 2. So they are naturally lacking, not because it's tokenization, but because they are associated with Web 2, which is a whole different story. So let me bring it back now to the most important point of this video, which is what are the altcoins that will do well because of all this news, right? Again, we have to hyper-focus here on real-world asset and tokenization because that's where the BlackRock money will flow. Not just BlackRock, but I think more people and more institutions and other Web3 companies and projects will get involved in this as well. BlackRock right now is leading not just Web3 projects and the Web3 growth, but also Web2, obviously, institutions. So I'm going to reference this gentleman over here, OX Nobler, who actually put this really great post out. I'll be referencing some of the projects, not all, but some of the projects he mentioned on this because he actually went and traced the wallets, which, Maker / BlackRock / this sort of fund, right, this Grand Prix, as they say, are investing into. So obviously, number one is Maker, right? Maker, I know, okay, it's not the most sexy project in the world. And some of you, less crypto enthusiast-based people will be like, it's so expensive. Guys, it's not expensive, right? Obviously, that depends on the supply. So it appears to be more expensive. They have most of their tokens already out. And of course, these are the guys who are at the forefront of all this. These are the guys that are actually pushing this innovative move, if you will, alongside BlackRock. So this, of course, is a massive deal to begin with. And I think Maker is going to be slept on this bull run. I truly do think it'll be slept on. And you can see the massive growth it's had already. I think it'll blow past its previous all-time high of $5,600, $5,700 quite easily. Of course, we have ONDO Finance already working with Securitize and BlackRock to some degree, tapping into that build-all fund and offering this product. These guys have had some pretty big partnerships recently with Injective and also Pith Network to push their product more. I've got a video coming out on ONDO tomorrow. You must see that video if I was you, okay? If you are invested or wanting to invest in ONDO, wait for tomorrow's video. So, of course, this is definitely a pick. Bit smaller market cap, 980 million. We, of course, have Mantra, like OX. Nobler says Manta is a no-brainer pick in this case, a layer one designed for real-world asset and tokenization. This could really, truly be one of the biggest movers out of all of these coins, even with the largest, one of the largest market caps, just simply because all it's going to take is some applications to be built on it or a direct investment from BlackRock to some degree, because again, it's specifically designed to handle this type of market. It could be, honestly, astronomical. And that's probably why the price hasn't really moved down too much recently, right? It's pretty much holding these all-time high levels. And of course, Pendle. So Pendle being about a 600 mil market cap, this thing rose quite high recently, but some of the products on offer for yield generation is crazy. Now, one other project I will mention here is Spectra. So Spectra is the first protocol for future yield tokenization period in the market, okay? But what I find most interesting, because there are a lot of firsts out there, right, guys, crypto's all, are we the first for this and that and blah, blah, blah. But they've actually been directly invested already by MakerDAO, okay? So obviously there's going to be some sort of natural, I guess, push towards the project with the allocation of these funds, if you will. So the market cap, as mentioned here, is quite small, 3.72 million. So I've left this last because it might be one of the smaller, more risky, yet high multiple picks out of these 5, okay? So I'm going to leave it there, but this very much does remind me of what it was like back in late 2020, all right? Maybe early 2021, that sort of DeFi summer feel where we had, these sort of projects push out first. And honestly, guys, we've got a whole new atmosphere for DeFi this time around. It truly is DeFi 2.0. So let me know down below what you think of this news. Are you bullish? Are you bearish? I think in accumulation of all of this, we're going to look back at some point in time and go, yeah, those gains are right around the corner. Why didn't I see it coming? So let me know what you think down below. All right, guys, take good care. Bye-bye.